Hey guys! So you may have heard of a man called Alfred Hitchcock, and if you haven't, you've come to the right place. And if you have, you've also come to the right place. Anyway, he's a renowned film director known as the Master of Suspense. And he was also British, so in honor of that, I'm going to be drinking some tea. Just kidding, I hate tea, this is coffee. He had a lot of common themes in his films, and today I'm going to be talking about those themes, so here we go. If you've seen a lot of Hitchcock films, then you know that there are a lot of impressive camera movements. One of his most famous is Jimmy Stewart's character's point of view shot in Vertigo. Those point of view shots are numerous in his films because he wanted to insert the audience into the story. So we also experience Scotty's acrophobia as a dolly zoom is used to distort the image of the ground beat farther away. The audience as the voyeur theme is even more exemplified in Rear Window. In an interview with French director Francois Truffaut in 1962, Hitchcock said, "I'll bet you that 9 out of 10 people, if they see a woman across the courtyard undressing for bed, or even a man puttering around his room, will stay and look. No one turns away and says, 'It's none of my business.' They could pull down their blinds, but they never do. They stand there and they look out." In Rear Window, while being stuck in his apartment with a broken leg, Jeff watches his neighbors doing their ordinary routines. But Jeff isn't the only one watching. We share the same curiosity as Jeff. Hitchcock doesn't cut to each window, but pans to them, because that's how our eyes work. Further into the film, when Jeff is caught spying on what he thinks is a murderer, we as the audience are also caught. Hitchcock thought that voyeurism is a natural human instinct, so be careful. Someone may be always watching you. In the same interview with Truffaut, Hitchcock explained what the term MacGuffin is. It's the device, the gimmick, is the term we use to cover all that sort of thing, to steal plans or documents or discover a secret. It doesn't matter what it is. And the logicians are wrong in trying to figure out the truth of a MacGuffin, since it's beside the point. The only thing that really matters is that in the picture, the plans, documents, or secrets must seem to be of vital importance to the characters. To me, the narrator, they're of no importance whatsoever. Basically, it's a device that moves the plot along, but in the end serves no other real purpose. In the 39 Steps, Henny spends the entire film trying to figure out what the 39 Steps are. The journey leads him to many different locations and characters. In the end, when both Henny and the audience find out what the 39 Steps are, we don't really care because it doesn't make any difference in the characters' lives and the story is over. In another interview with Dick Cavett, he said that perhaps the most important thing to know about MacGuffin is that it contains the word guff, which means a load of nonsense. There are a lot of theories as to why Hitchcock cast blondes in the majority of his films. There's either some deeper meaning, or that was just his type, or their light hair simply photographed better on camera. But a lot of people believe that Hitchcock's blondes had a restrained sensuality. Under their cool, beautiful exteriors was someone who was bold and passionate when faced with peril. Film critic Roger Ebert once said of Hitchcock's leading ladies, "They reflected the same qualities over and over again. They were blonde, they were icy and remote. They were imprisoned in costumes that subtly combined fashion with fetishism. They mesmerized the men, who often had physical or psychological handicaps." So if Hitchcock was still alive, I would dye my hair blonde to be in his films. Or I could just wear a wig like Vera Miles did in Psycho because she shaved her head for a previous film. Bet you didn't know that. Hitchcock is known for his surprise twists, and one of those twists is usually the person who you think is so nice and charming is actually the murderer we've been looking for all along. Probably his most notable is Norman Bates in Psycho. Many of Hitchcock's antagonists are not cookie-cutter villains, but they are likable and sympathetic. In Dial M for Murder, Ray Milland's character Tony is married to Grace Kelly's Margot. When he discovers she is having an affair, he decides to plot her murder. What makes Tony a likable criminal is not only because he's our protagonist, but because there's also a relatable distress of being cheated on. He doesn't seem malicious or evil, and at the end, when he is caught, he acts like a gentleman. He willingly surrenders himself and congratulates the police as he makes himself one last drink. When Hitchcock was a child, he was sent to the police station by his father with a letter. When the sergeant read the letter, he locked him up for 10 minutes. And when he let him out, the sergeant said, "This is what happens when people do bad things." And from that day forward, Hitchcock had a morbid fear of the police. And he also cited this as the reason for his wrong man themes in his films. In many of Hitchcock's films, the protagonist is wrongly accused of a crime and spends the entire film running for the police and trying to clear his name. Although in Psycho, the hero on the run is actually guilty of stealing money, but the audience still roots for her to get away, and in this case, she doesn't. In North by Northwest, Cary Grant's character Roger Thornhill is accidentally mistaken for a criminal named Kaplan. He spends the majority of the movie running and running and running from the police and other criminals, as well as trying to claim his innocence. Hitchcock's films always have an uneasy tone. You can't trust anyone. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you think of this video. Let me know if you have any comments or criticisms or other questions. I would love to hear from you guys. So if you really like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That would be awesome. And if you really like my content, why don't you subscribe? And if you have a film-related topic that you want me to research, comment down below. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching again, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!